Hi everyone, I'm Trent Rhorer. I'm the director of the city's Human Services Agency, and we're really here today to celebrate an effort that began in 2009 with the passage of the Stimulus Act by Congress as introduced by the President. And one of the components of that act was a really robust subsidized employment program that we called in San Francisco Jobs Now. We, through that effort, over 17 months, employed over 4,000 San Franciscans, pumped about $50 million into the local economy, and really put a lot of people back to work for the first time in a long time. When those funds expired at the federal level, because we had such success in San Francisco, we continued the program. Thanks to the leadership of Mayor Lee and former Mayor Newsom, we put some local money in and combined with some state and federal TANF and CalWorks dollars to put almost 800 people to work through this current program iteration, helping support businesses like the one we're at today. So we're really here today to celebrate our achievements and to demonstrate that job programs like these work. They work for local businesses, they work for folks who haven't been in the workforce for a long time. We're really honored today. I'll dare to say, very important man from Washington, D.C. is out here to help celebrate with us. His name is George Sheldon, and he's the acting administrator for Administration for Children and Families for HHS. And he's out here to talk a bit about the program from the federal perspective as well. Before I introduce him, I'd like to introduce Mayor Lee, who's been a steadfast supporter of Jobs Now, both with the private sector initiatives like we have, the one we're showing today, but on the public side through clean streets and clean parks, and in our nonprofit sector as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Lee for a few remarks, and then to George Sheldon.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Trent. As all of you know, as Mayor of San Francisco, I never get tired about talking about jobs because there's so much of a need, but it's also that theme can instantly get you into people's lives and talk about how a job can transform their lives in such positive ways. But even the word jobs can be kind of stale if you don't link it to real lives of people and real things that happen. Just on this very corner, for example, the owner and I were talking about how this corner was even physically transformed because of this pastry shop that's enlivened it from kind of a dead area that was challenged by other challenging lives to one now that is much more beaming with business and people wanting to do things that are positive. When the federal government did the ARA monies back some years ago, and they were test casing all jurisdictions across the country as to who would kind of create models that could be sustainable, I think they were talking about San Francisco, because years later, when those monies are not necessarily available, we have, I think, the third or fourth iteration of that Jobs Now program with local funds, because we believed in those goals. And it was a chance to use the federal money in the right way. We've done that. We've done that with the great support of not only our local Human Services Agency through Trent's leadership, but through the Human Services Agency that Herb Schultz has been very much a great leader in and working with us very closely. And then we get to show off with Mr. Sheldon's visit here. He'll see this as just one of many great examples of how we use federal funds to stimulate our economy, but how we really have transformed individual lives. We have people who really didn't have the skill sets, were wondering whether or not they'd be able to use the opportunity to gain job skills that would sustain them, whether they wanted to get more education or create more education opportunities that led to a career. Well, you're going to be able to visit today some of those individuals that are working right here. And you can't escape them because they have such big windows. You have to see them working. They can't escape. There's no breaks here, but they're working because they're building the skills that they've been interested in and wanting to. And these skills will lead them to a great many opportunities that are forthcoming. And that's exactly what the administration, the federal government wished it to happen. This is what we are actually doing. This is what our small business environment, our small business advocates like Scott Hauge for many years have been saying, please take up these opportunities and create small businesses like this, and then help activate areas that have been deadened because of lack of activity, and then awaken individuals particularly those that are challenged in their lives with economics that wouldn't ordinarily have that chance. Now they have that chance, and individuals that are working here are taking every opportunity to not squander that great gift that we're getting, and then changing their lives as they're coming forward. This is the great story of America. This is where we meet federal goals with local goals, and this is where we implement those promises to everybody that we oftentimes say, in words, we want to promise you something we sometimes can't deliver. Well, I think this program is delivering. It's making a difference. It's making a difference right here, and I'm eager not only to come here to see a good friend, Mr. Sheldon, again, and our agencies, but I'm also here to eat the cupcakes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Sheldon probably about a year ago or so. He came onto the job and was speaking with his staff and said, well, talking about employment programs and sort of innovative models to get families back into the workforce. And his staff recommended, I think among other cities, recommended to come to San Francisco. And we, myself and my staff who've put together this program, were really honored. We certainly did our best to show off our program a year ago or so when George came, and we're really pleased that he has chosen to come back and sort of see the progress that we've made, despite the unfortunate loss of the federal money, but really within the context of our existing welfare to work program and certainly the commitment of the local dollars. And so, really happy to be at a work site and have Mr. Sheldon here to meet some participants in the program as well as some employers and say a few words as well. So here's Mr. George Sheldon.
Trent, thank you, and Mr. Mayor, thank you. If you look back over the last 3 years, the Recovery and Reinvestment Act did a substantial amount to begin to stimulate the economy. And the subsidized employment program of that was a big piece. When I came to San Francisco and to your center, Trent, and saw employers who were the most enthusiastic about it. I remember talking to one employer there who was a manager of an architecture firm, and she said, if I have a choice between spending a lot of time going over 700 resumes, or I can go to somebody who knows what they're doing, who can cull through those and find qualified people, what's the decision? And it really pointed out how important this program is. And I have to compliment San Francisco, and frankly, I think a lot of cities around the country can learn a lot from San Francisco, because what you did when those federal dollars expired is San Francisco said, we're going to keep this going because it works. And this Pastry Cupboard that we're at today is really an example of that. And they have employed so far 3 individuals who this was an opportunity to turn their life around. And you can tell if you talk to them how excited they are about their work. And it's not just that it's important to put them back to work so that they can put a roof over their heads and educate their children and put food on the table. It's about the confidence that it builds in those individuals, that self-respect. If you look back a decade ago and you asked people, what's your most important asset? They would have probably said their house. Today they'd say their job. And that's the reason the President is so committed to the American Jobs Act, to really getting America back to work. And he's laid out in his State of the Union, and I think many of you heard that, the 4 pillars of doing that. It's rebuilding American manufacturing, rebuilding American energy, restoring American values, and really utilizing American skills. And we are still the hardest working people probably on the planet. We get knocked down, and every time we say we're going to get back up and do something about it. And if you look at the last 7 months, a lot of positive things have happened. Surely we're not coming out of this recession as fast as we would like to. but for 7 months, we've had positive job growth. And you've seen economic growth that's beginning to occur. And the American public is beginning to have their confidence in the economy restored. There is a lot of pent-up capital, over $1.5 trillion of pent-up capital that American business has not invested. And the key part of that is restoring their confidence. And what San Francisco is doing, I think, is a step in that direction. You'll be seeing the president's budget will be coming out shortly. And I think it is a blueprint in terms of how we go from here. I just talked to another individual, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to kind of highlight, Benito Delgado Olson, I believe, who's doing a program here to really connect kids with dental care and also provide school supplies. And for a lot of people, a lot of kids, those are important components. But what he did is he decided to buy his school supplies in this country and identified a shop, a union shop out of Newark, and got a good deal on 150,000 school bags, I believe. But what that did for that plant in Newark is it allowed them through the Jobs Now program to hire 87 new workers. So it really is, all of this leverages everything else that we do. So I am an optimist. I'm an optimist about the future of this country. Hubert Humphrey used to say that he was an optimist because he looked out in the field of pessimism and there was too much competition. But I think we as a people have a lot to be optimistic about. And when we met in San Francisco recently, I really wanted to come back because what you've done here is probably more than most cities in the country have done. And I invite you to continue to push Washington because what you've done is you've continued to raise this issue, and I think that will kind of give us the ammunition to move the program forward. I also want to recognize the employer here because we give a lot of credit to employees for working hard and doing their job, but it really is employers, small businesses are going to turn this around. And you articulated it, what they've done here in bringing this shop, opening this shop up here, helping to rejuvenate a community, but also to provide some pretty damn impressive pastry in the process. So I'm glad to be here, and I hope to be invited back at some point. Thank you.
That's a nice segue into introducing the owner of Pastry Cupboard. When we launched this program in 2009, we weren't sure the level of interest we would see by the private sector. I think our goal initially was 1,000 placements. We quickly exceeded that, and we exceeded that because the model that we had of pre-screening candidates for jobs, referring the right people, making it easy for employers to do interviews in groups and in job fairs, they kept coming back. They were getting qualified candidates. Even when the full subsidy expired, they kept the folks they hired on board, which really speaks to the quality of the employee, but also the commitment of the employer and really the good process that my staff laid out for the employers. And one of them is here, Chona Piamatra, I get that right? Is the owner of Pastry Cupboard, and she is going to talk a little bit about her experience with the program and then introduce one of your employees.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Hi. Being a small business owner was an incredibly overwhelming process to begin with. And before we committed into opening this retail shop, we had tried to anticipate all the hidden costs, budgets, everything. But of course, that fell short. And one of the things that really saved us was the Jobs Now program. I really don't believe we could have built this incredible space and staff without it. They provided us with great service, great people. I've hired 3 from the Jobs Now program. All have worked out, and I want to have them work for me forever. And everything you see here is it was helped and created by the Jobs Now program people. And it's an amazing program. Like I said, I don't think we could have made it as well as we have without it. I think it would have been a much bigger struggle for us as a small company. But anyway, I want to continue and expand this company, and I plan to use the Jobs Now program over and over again. And you know, I really want to encourage other small companies to use it, to utilize it, and benefit from it as I have. I want to introduce you to Matisha. She was the first person from the Jobs Now program. And one of the things about Matisha is she's an amazing baker, an amazing person, smart, funny. She's really shy. She may not say a lot right now. But I want to point out that she has helped make some of these beautiful pastries and breads and sandwiches, and she's just amazing. So here's Matisha.
Hi, I'm Matisha LaCour. I went through the Jobs Now program, and it really helped me. I feel like if I wouldn't have went through the Jobs Now program, I wouldn't be where I am today. As far as the Jobs Now and the whole general assistance program, like general assistance, it helped me pay for school and to get through school. And if I didn't go through general assistance, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be working with all these great people and seeing all these new faces if it wasn't for the Jobs Now program. And I really want to thank them for helping me better my life and not just be a kid, you know, at home playing on the game station, not doing anything with their life. And I want to thank them for that. So, yeah.
We also have a few other employers here. So we're representing a broader spectrum of who hired the Jobs Now folks. We have really a champion from the small business sector who really was a proponent and a supporter early on, and that's Scott Hauge, who's here with one of his employees, who's I think been with Scott for 2 years now, which is just a fabulous success. And we have two other, one of the biggest employers in San Francisco, actually, UCSF is here, who've been a supporter and a big hirer of Jobs Now folks. And then someone who was with us, I think, early on as well, BookPig, which is a local small business who's here as well. I welcome them to come up and share their stories, but certainly here to share their stories with Mr. Sheldon. So if you want to, anyone want to come up and say a few? Scott Hauge.
Well, I was very fortunate. I hired a person with Jobs Now, Celia Rivera, who came into our office, and the most important asset to a business is their employees. And Celia has proved that time and time again. The little story, she had a child early on, and we had to throw her out of the office because she wanted to come back to work the next day. So, but there is another side of this that really played a very positive role in our business, is because of the economy, we couldn't hire anybody, and it was creating a lot of stress in our existing employees. And being able to hire Celia and getting that payment allowed us to hire somebody about 8 to 10 months earlier than we would have been able to otherwise, and it took a lot of stress away from the other employees. So it was a great program. I hope it can be reinstated at some point, and thank you very much.
First off, I would like to say thank you to everyone who pushed for the program. My boss, Scott, the mayor, people at the Career Link office. This has been not only a start of a new career, but it's helped me and my family in a lot of ways. I'm a mother of 4 children, and I've learned a lot at Cal Insurance. I first heard of this program when I was working temporary at the summer lunch and snack program. And so everyone was worried, it's the last day of work, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And this young lady said, well, I heard of this stimulants program, and it was September of '09. And I said, oh, yeah. And I just told everyone from then on. I said, there's this stimulants program. Everyone just go. And, I was just telling everyone. And I was so excited. And I was there every day trying to look for a job. And I'm very, very lucky to work for, Cal Insurance. Everyone there is just wonderful. And I'm just thankful to be part of such a wonderful program, Jobs Now. And I'm hoping again that, push for it, because it's a wonderful program, and thank you.
Hello, my name is Charlotte, and this is Tashina. Come on up. We are a book rental company. We started in '09, and it was started by two couples. We funded it ourselves and worked there ourselves many, many, many hours away from my young baby and everything. And this program helped us start. We've employed 6 people total. Some have gone on to other programs. They've gone back to college. They've started. One of us started her own business herself. So it's been an absolute success, and we could not have almost be reaching break even now. We would not be doing that unless we had been able to fast forward our progress with the help of this program. So it's made an incredible difference to us. We supply books to kids all over the country. We're helping local schools with books who are having a shortfall of books because of Creative Arts School just had a fire in their library, and so we've had a lot of opportunities to help our community. So it's been just a great process, and everyone we've had has been outstanding. And Tashina, who's been with us a year on Valentine's Day, is absolutely incredible. I don't know how we'd have met her otherwise. So thank you, and I'll let Tashina say a quick word.
Hi, I'm Tashina Williams. I just want to say thank you to the Jobs Now program, because without it, I wouldn't be where I am now. I was out of work for 3 whole years, and I'm a single mother of a 3-year-old boy, and it was just very hard. I started to lose hope for our future and everything, and with this program, it kind of gave me a better sense of hope for my future and my son's future. And just with the help of working for Book Pig, my son, he didn't like to read books at first, but now he loves to read books, and I'm just really thankful for it, and I would really appreciate, if they can just keep pushing the program, and, thank you.
All right, we'll take a quick couple minutes. My name is Damon Liu. I'm with the University of California, San Francisco. We're one of the larger employers here in San Francisco. And one of my roles there is to coordinate the Community Outreach Internship Program, which is just a little program that we've had for about a dozen years, and we reconvened this program about 2 years ago. At that time, we were really struggling with finding some funding to help pay the internship stipends for community residents that were applying to the program, and we were very, very fortunate, and I'm tremendously thankful that the Jobs Now program started right around that time. That first year in 2010, I think we were able to tap into about $280,000 in funding, which allowed us to pay a 5-month internship for 20 interns that first year. We successfully partnered again with the city in 2011. Just this past year, we had 19 graduates from the program. I'm proud to say that 17 of those graduates who completed the program in September of 2011 are still working at UCSF in a temporary role or in a career role. So we've been very fortunate, and I'm also proud to say that through the support of the Jobs Now program, we've been able to leverage that funding. We've gotten quite a bit of foundation funding, private funding now, that's going to allow us to roll out 2 cycles of the COIT program for this calendar year in 2012. So it's been a tremendous boost for us at the university. Incredibly thankful to the staff of HSA and the mayor. I'll turn it over to Shantae Helton, who was one of our graduates from 2010.
Hi, I'm Shantae Helton, and I just want to say thanks to everybody for the program, because the program was a big change in my life. I was a single mother of 2 kids. I had just lost my place, I lost my job. I was a carpenter for 8 years, local 22 here in the city. So it basically was a life-changing experience that really did a 360 on my life. I started the internship program, and now I'm in a career position with the neurology department of UCSF as a patient coordinator, and it also gave me the opportunity to go back to school and to pursue my career goals to be a radiologist. So I do want to thank you. It's the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm a witness, a standing testimony of it. Thank you.
thanks everyone for coming and for sharing. Before I close, I do have to recognize the folks from the Human Services Agency, because without them, there's just no way this program would have been pulled off. And that's to my left, Jim Welly, Tony Lugo, and I think behind me is Steve Arcelona, who, and Bernadette, sorry, you're hiding behind the pillar, and Bernadette Santos as well, who, really were able to grow a program where we had initial goals of 1,000, which we thought were too high, and to exceed that by 4 times is amazing. And so thanks, guys, for your innovation and creativity and hard work. So with that, we'll definitely want to thank again Mr. Sheldon for coming out from DC to recognize our program and hear more from our participants and our employers, and of course to Mayor Lee, who is a super supporter of this and will continue to be. And it's not mentioned specifically in your 17-point jobs plan, but I'm going to take the subheader from one of his 17 points that this is a key program to his goal of getting thousands of San Franciscans back to work. With that, I'll close and thank everyone for coming.
Thank you.